Hello and welcome to darkshedLIVE. Let me just turn my there we go. Yeah, I had my audio coming out of my ear. It's really confusing. Welcome to darkshedLIVE Season 2 Episode 5. It's Sunday the 19th of July. Welcome, thank you for joining this evening, or if you're watching it on catch up. I am sorry for the delay in this broadcast. If you hadn't guessed, things have been pretty full on here at Darkshed headquarters, and a big part of that has been planning some stuff personally for the future, and the direction I'm going to be going in regards to my photography and trying to make things work financially for me. A little sneak preview: it's going to involve Patreon style subscriptions and of course lots of prints. But to make that happen, I need to be more organised with my time and have a realistic schedule for what I'm creating and producing more consistently is the plan. So I guess the first news is that darkshedLIVE, I'm going to continue to do the broadcasts. I really enjoy doing them and I hope you enjoy watching them as well. But they need to be part of a bigger picture for me, and as we're kind of coming out of lockdown a bit and more stuff's coming up, doing them weekly isn't achievable at all, as you probably tell the fact I haven't broadcast in a couple of weeks. So I'm going to drop them to monthly broadcasts, and they will always be broadcast on the first Tuesday of every month at 8 PM UK time, and as always I'll be available for watching it afterwards if you can't make those dates. So stick it in your diaries and I hope to see you here in the future. My plan is that prints that are created during or as part of the broadcasts will then be available to buy, or they might be free as part of some Patreon subscription. We'll see how that goes. And it's a way of integrating doing this as well with what I'm doing creating anyway, so it's not two separate things and it's all interlinked, so I'm not spending this is actually kind of more productive time regards work output, and then hopefully all that will help support the time and the resources needed to put into making them. There we go. Hi Mark, great to see you. Thanks for joining tonight. Hope you're doing okay. So what else? Yeah, another reason I've been delayed this broadcast is I've been getting involved with Sunny 16 podcasts and doing a bit of co-hosting with them, which has been great fun, and I hope you're enjoying listening to the show. While Aid's on sabbatical, got Graham, Rachel, Claire and myself now kind of tag teaming it all, and it's really good fun. I'll put a link in the comments if you've not heard that podcast before, so please do check it out. And we've got some exciting plans for the future which connects to everything that's going on behind the scenes, kind of some of it to what I'm doing as well. But all that will be revealed soon, so stay tuned. Right then, so kind of tied in with that, I was involved in the Cheap Shots Challenge, which I was kind of forced to do because of my involvement in the show now. And I went out on Friday with my niece, who created some props for the groceries challenge, and I had an absolute disaster of a session. She spent hours creating these props, and then when I got back and developed the film, it looked like this. Absolutely nothing at all, which was quite frustrating considering the amount of effort we went to, and been trying to work out what went wrong. I know it wasn't the development chemicals, because I had two other rolls in the same tank that came out absolutely fine, C41 development, so I know it wasn't the chemicals, so it could have been the camera, but I shot another roll in the same camera about an hour before, which I developed in E6, and that came out fine. So that kind of that can only leave one option in my view of nailing down problems, and that option is there's something wrong with the film. Now, I think that what I did, I don't know, if you've got any thoughts, I won't say what I think the problem was, but if you've got any thoughts over what would give that result, bearing in mind you can't see any sprocket markings. Can you see anything? No, there's absolutely nothing there. Okay, so if you've got any thoughts over what would produce that result, drop them in the comments, and I'll reveal on my next show what I actually think happened. And there we go. So that's the recap. I think it's time to get on with some printing. I don't know what I'm going to do. So this is actually a project I'm working on at the moment, and I think I printed some of these before in another show, but I wanted to take the final print in a different direction and use a different paper, which was initially a fibre paper, and now I'm actually trying and going for this paper, which is the Ilford MG Art, which is their premium paper type. It's different. It's a different paper type. I think it's the most expensive paper they do. It's lovely stuff. If we just bring up the text sheets for it. So it's, how do they describe it? It's on a double weight fine art base with a textured matte surface and a slight eggshell sheen. It is especially suitable for toning and hand colouring. I might tone it, but I don't intend to hand colour it. It's a lovely paper. It's really thick. It's slightly off-white, it's eggshell, kind of creamy sort of colour. It's very, very subtle though, but when you compare the papers next to each other, you can see it. Excuse me. And yeah, it's got a small texture on it as well. And like a noticeable texture. It's a lovely thing. So the spec information for it is all available in the doc. And the development time is pretty standard, like the same as fibre. This isn't it, 130 to 3 minutes in multi-grade dev, 1+9, 10-second stop bath, a minute fix, and then 30 to 45 minutes wash. So yeah, pretty standard stuff for development there. And I have already started doing some tests today. So I'll show you where I'm at with that. Let me just show you so it's this image here that I'm working on, Fallen Spirits, I think I called it. So this is where I'm at the moment. I started with these test strips here. So I started with grade, you want to say grade 2 maybe, which initially I thought, actually this is rubbish, I know I want a more contrasty image, so I went straight for a higher grade and got to a point where I was kind of happy. Like the blacks in the trees are like absolutely beautiful on this paper. So I know I wanted a really strong black in those trees coming down, but the white in like these areas it's a tricky image to print. There's not much separation between those blacks and all the detailing in like these. The trees reflected in water. It's quite flat in places. So I did a full-size print based on these test strips, which is here. Okay, so that's probably coming across looks quite dark actually on the screen. It's a bit lighter in real life. But as you can see, the blacks here are just delicious. And I've got some white here, which I really like. It's never going to get white because the paper's eggshell. But these areas here, they're a bit muddy, and I wanted this area a bit darker, and it's kind of it's lacking a bit. So I decided to, from that, it's nice, and that might be part of the Patreon package when I start doing things, is getting prints. But I'm going to do a split grade. Well, I've started doing a split grade on it, and that's where I'm at now. So the next phase was to do, I did a low grade, 0 I think I started at, just to get to the point where I was getting detail in these highlights, like kind of just below. And then when I was at that point, I then used that as a base exposure, and then did a higher grade in steps over the top to work out where I was just getting black. So that's where I'm at, and I've got the timings for those. So I'm going to do a full print with that split grade and show you those steps. So the first thing I need to do is just check that it's still in focus. Let's go to multicam. Evening, Tara. See you. How are you doing? Oh, that looks awesome. Thanks. It's all down to the paper. I hope it's partly my image, but it looks awesome as well. Right, so what do I need to do before I do this? Actually, I just need to put filters on the screen. I can't remember if I had this set up last time I streamed. I did a photo talk a couple of nights ago to a photo club. If anybody who was there is in the stream now, please say hello. Well, I did like some live printing for a photo club, which was great fun. It's really nice to meet everybody from the Aperture Photography group. Right, so let's see where we're at with this. So let's just go through the basics again. I've opened up the aperture on the lens just so I can set the focus. Hopefully it hasn't moved. I'm just looking for the grain. No. Good. Right. Six. This paper, I haven't done a direct comparison, but my gut feeling is that it actually. Oh, I've got a bit of sciatica at the moment as well. It's pretty painful. This paper isn't as sensitive as the other papers, so it needs more light. But I haven't actually. It's just my gut feeling. So the first time was 4.76 and the second one is 19 seconds. So clang. Oh no. So I've been. I've got. Oh no, there's some. I thought I'd kept the paper ready. Oh, if I'd only been more prepared. Is that 8 by 10? I've been working from larger sheets of the paper. No, that's way too big. I have to cut this paper down. Sorry about this. Should have pre-prepared the paper. So I've got my guillotine under here. That to be 8 by 10. I'm chopping on the cable while I'm at it. Yeah, so I bought a box of the larger paper because it was a bit cheaper, and then I cut it down myself. Oh dear, it's going on the floor. Right, we're ready. Let's hope that landed emulsion side. That it probably didn't, did it? There's a bit of a sheen to the paper. Help determine which side is up. Right, so I've got the first filter in. Did I close the lens down? I can't remember. Yes, I did. So, this is the low grade. And we swap the filters over. Change the time. Make sure I've got everything set up here. Let's clear the decks ready for stuff coming in. And the developer, and what was it, 1.5 minutes to 3, setting the spec, curling up a bit. And it's pretty much appeared by like 30 seconds. So I'm trying, that's a minute, I'll just give it a bit longer. The drying technique I'm trying for this is where you squeegee the front and the back of the print and then just lay it out on like a tea towel or something like that. And that last one's pretty good actually. So it's curled at the ends. I'm not so sure if it's as bad at curling as fibre. Ten seconds and stop. I guess that. And the fix for 60 seconds. So that was the original print. You can already see it's a bit lighter. Hopefully I'm getting close to the point. I have worked on this image digitally already, so I'm aware of what that it does need some dodging and burning in different parts of the image. So like this corner here, I know I want to burn a bit. In this one here, I want to dodge a bit, just because it's so foggy here. I want to kind of bring these closer to white. But the rest of the area is all good from this setup. So we'll take that out of here and then into the wash. And I need to go and put this in my proper Nova washer ultimately for that 30 minutes. But I'll give it a quick dunk in here and then show you the differences between the two. Where should I do that? Quick wipe down on that. And then this camera. Hold on, let me go turn the light on. I was just chatting to somebody else who's got a dark room and they've installed Google Home controlled lights, so they can just say to Google, OK lights, OK Google, safe lights on, and OK Google, main lights off. Sounds pretty special, isn't it? Right, I don't know if that's going to come through on this camera, but the top one is the latest print with the split grade. And yeah, as I thought, it's still, there's a bit more detail, even though the black's still there, some of the areas, but it's primarily, I need to do some dodging here and some burning in this corner, is what I'm looking for in the final image. But these trees are going kind of to grey here, and I really want those to stay black. So I'm just going to burn that corner in a bit and dodge this one. Time am I on? Oh, it's only 20 past 8, might do that tonight. Do that now. Right, I'll just go and take this over and put it in the wash properly. Oh, I just dunked the old, just dunked my tea towel in the wash. Didn't get that on camera. Oops. Right, just going to stick this in the wash. All good. Just grab another tea towel. Right, so with dodging and burning with a split grade, you can do it on either or both of the steps, depending on what way you want it to affect. But for this one, so this, I want to make these lighter, so it's going to be. That's probably the shadows, really. So I'm going to do that during the second grade. Oh, camera just died. What's going on with that? So I'll do that during the high contrast. Just give that a dodge, and then the top left there, I'm going to burn very slightly as well. So it all comes down to how long you can do it for. I could do test strips here, particularly as the paper is so expensive. But I'm just going to go with kind of my gut. How I want to do it for to start with. So swap back to low grade, get prepped. Oh, I'm going to have to cut some more paper, aren't I? Turn the lights off first before I get rid of this up. Through there. These 8 by 10. No. So my ultimate goal with this will be that I want to paint the developer on to get brushed edges to it. Oh. And that is going to involve putting a mask over the paper to dim the exposures, and exposing the borders of the image to be black, and then just while I'm thinking, make sure I don't get this wrong, that's 10 inches, and then brushing on as I did a few weeks ago with a developer to get a nice brushed edge effect to it. There's 2. Out. Let me just check the time so I know how long I've been washing it for. 20 past 8, isn't it? Right, so I'm checking for the sheen. And the paper goes. I should probably find my tools for doing what I'm going to dodge with. Need a bit of card for this. I can bend, and then burning will be like that. Right, so first exposure, low contrast. Change the filter. As you can see, it's a very small amount of the low contrast. I could possibly, with this, achieve a similar result with a single grade. So, basically I need to dodge the bottom left. So if the hard exposure time is 19 seconds, if I were to do 8.5 seconds is one stop off that. So let's go for that. So we're getting in position, ready to start at 8 seconds. Okay, here we go. Just trying to dodge the block the corner too much there. Okay, and then I'm going to burn the top corner for probably another 8 seconds as well. Done. See how that is? I've got a feeling I messed up that bottom corner. In the developer. Just make sure I've closed this box up. So the area that I was dodging, it doesn't look like I've done it enough. They're looking very grey. That's looking darker though. I really want to get those two branches there. Branches, trunks. As always, if you've got any questions, please get in touch. You can leave them in the comments or in the chat now if you're here live. Okay, that's been over a minute and a half. Stop 10. And in the fix for a minute. Now really I want to go and get that with a print out wash so I can compare both of these. So, oh, that's in the fix. I'm just going to go get that. A few weeks ago I did a massive tidy up in my darkroom. It was great, and now it's back to shit again. Right, there's a minute. Into the wash. Right, so this was with and I dodged the bottom left for 8 seconds and burnt the top left for about the same, 8-9 seconds. I don't know how well you can see this. Let's try bringing that up to. I think this has stayed in security mode, hasn't it? So I'll describe it to you. The bottom left where I dodged, it's definitely lighter, but it's still very grey. So that might need specifically dodging the grey areas just to try and bring them up to these whites. The top left, I'm really pleased with that. That's exactly what I'm looking for. So I'm going to write these down because it starts to get a bit confusing now. What I'm supposed to be doing. So I've got my notes of the 2 grades, and then I'm going to write down during the grade 5, dodged the bottom left, 8 seconds, burnt the top left, 8 seconds, plus 8 seconds. Right, let's stick that one back in the wash and that one. So what I'm thinking of doing, tell me what you think about this idea, is prints that I produce as part of during darkshedLIVE, these kind of test prints. I'm going to put them on my website for sale, and if you're a subscriber to my Patreon, you'll be entitled to get some of these prints for free, or you can just buy them as one-offs if you're interested, if you just rather do that. And then the final prints that I produce from them, if they're kind of more premium like prints that maybe I'll exhibit or whatever, then they'll obviously have a more premium price point. But the kind of working prints that I still think are decent to display, like the first one, yeah, it's a bit dark, but I think it's still got value to it. Then they'll go up at a kind of lower price. So yeah, let me know what you think of that idea. Oh, I've left the wrong camera on there, sorry. Right, we've got a question in saying, perhaps I missed it, but are the grades you're using for split grade? Yeah, so they're the contrast filters, and I'm doing a split grade to control the shadows and the highlights. Right, so that dodge and burn, the burn was great. That's exactly what I'm after. At 8 seconds, I might just show you on this. So the way I did the burn was like that. I might do it a bit more like this, just to get this area here a bit darker. So creating that more of a curve like that as I'm burning. And then the bottom area, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this. Enlarger. There are kind of key areas here between the branches on the trees that are reflected that they're just flat grey. And if they were a lot whiter, I think, well, they'll be a lot nicer. So I'm going to specifically dodge these areas rather than doing what I was doing before, or a combination of both. I do only have 5 seconds during the low grade. So that large one there, I might do for the whole time. That. Let's see. I'll work it out as I do it. And next piece of paper. Side for the sheen. Right, so I need a dodging tool for this as well. We've got here, which is a little bit of card and wire that I'm going to use to specifically block those small areas. So let's start with the low grade. I'm just going to dodge, kind of getting it in position, ready. I know it's going to be about there. Off we go. Quite a harsh dodge that, because this is a small image as well. It's a lot harder to work on. I'm swapping the grades over now, and I'm going to do. Where did I put that card? There it is. I'm going to do the same again. I'm going to do my first 9 seconds where I dodge the corner. Let's just make sure I've got everything right. Like this. Right, and then I'll pause the exposure while I just put that card down, pick up my dodging tool, dodge that one, trying to just dodge in between all the branches a bit. Okay, and then it was another 9 seconds on the top. Done. Developer. Jimmy, good evening, Jimmy. How's it going? Hope you haven't brought that dog with you. Okay, immediately I can see this is looking a bit better. It's still looking quite foggy though, quite like flat grey. Okay, so that's the one. Around 1 minute in the fix. So this is probably going to be the last one that I do for tonight. I'll let these images dry down and just see how I've got my notes on how that was printed. Actually, I need to add what I did to that latest one. So that was it's down. Top left, bottom left. I also dodged gaps for the low grade and 8 seconds the high grade, grade 5. So now I can come back to that tomorrow and know exactly how I got to that point. But I just wanted to let the paper dry down after washing and see if there's any difference there as well, because like fibre paper dries down a bit darker. So I want to see if this does the same before committing completely to it. Okay, let's turn the lights on. Oh, that's looking loads better. Yes. Probably could go a little bit more in that corner as well. Stick that in there. Let's bring that up. Nice screen so you can see it. Break everything in the process. Here we go. There's a delay on this camera, it's really confusing. So I look at my computer and I've only just picked it up. It's very odd. I don't know how well you can see that. Explains to it better, doesn't it? So this area here, it's still looking a bit kind of flat and grey between the trunks, the branches, sorry. And I want it to get closer to like these areas here. So I definitely need to do more dodging in here. If that's going to work, but that area there I'm really happy with now. It could possibly take a bit more, just to get like these blacks here are so rich that I kind of want that to be replicated on those, and it's not quite there yet. So I need to burn this area just a touch more than what I am, and then really work on these grey bits between the two. But I'll wash that off and let it dry down before completely committing. I'm just going to make a note of that actually. Kind of to do. So what did I say? Burn top left more and dodge bottom left gaps white. So there we go. I think I'm done for the day. Thank you for joining tonight. I don't think there's anything else I was going to mention. Like I say, next time it'll be Tuesday the 4th of August at 8 p.m. and then so it's going to be every Tuesday, first Tuesday of every month at 8 p.m. UK time is my plan now. And I'll probably put some updates on the old social medias about how I get on with this print in between time, and I'll recap that during the next one as well. So stay tuned. As always, you can find me on social media at the darkshed. Thank you very much for watching, and yeah, I'll see you all soon. Take care. Bye. See, I'm so out of practice with this, I can't even find the farewell button. That's it. Bye.